Well, let's talk about that. So you said you'd work with hormones. Those are the peptides. You also work with hormones. Great segue. Ladies, if you want to save your marriage, let's talk.
Talk about hormones.
We didn't know we were going to get into this. Let's talk about, you said the main thing for your practice is hormones. So and you don't have to use any one, mix up a patient, make a patient up out of thin air, but someone walks in, what's the typical issues they have hormonally?
Oh gosh. Wow. Well, it's so interesting. Yeah, he's got this up right now, like the low testosterone symptoms in men. But yeah, those are all very common. But I mean, if you're talking about a female, we're looking at basically most women walk in with abnormal weight gain in the belly fat, like the additional belly fat. They can't sleep, hot flashes, they're moody. Their cycles are all messed up. They have no libido, zero interest in sex, just none.
Right. Like I said, save your marriage.
And they're
Tune in.
And they're chronically fatigued.
Yes. Well, and that's a part of it, right? It's like, if I can't wait to get to sleep at night, I'm definitely not looking to jump in the bed with you. So.
Right. And some of the other things, like we've got things like, you can't think clearly.
Yeah.
You can't remember why you walked into a room. Lots of vaginal dryness. I mean, painful sex is a big thing. And that is so easy to fix. I mean, so it depends on your age, but I usually start seeing women for perimenopause symptoms, which can be, the big ones are the irregular periods. They've got the belly fat. They can't sleep and moody. Those are usually in their 30s and no sex drive because your testosterone levels start to drop. Give them a little testosterone and most all of those issues disappear.
Right.
For some women, testosterone, it's like it's your well-being hormone.
Right.
And it gives you energy and motivation to get off the couch.
I would 100% agree with that. That was, so you got me on that about a little over a year after everything else.
Yeah, we did everything else first.
Yeah, and I would say, like, talk about the icing on the cake. Because, I came in, I was like, I feel better, I've lost weight, I'm this, but I'm just not me still yet. And once we looked at that and did that, it's like all of game change. I mean, I didn't have all of those symptoms, but I had enough of them to know something was off. And when we checked those levels, in fact, they were, and they had dropped since even the last time I'd seen you. And it's like wild to me when I talk to my friends now that say things like, ugh, my husband wants to have sex with me. Sorry, James. Girl talk.
It's okay.
But,
I've heard it all by now.
Yeah. Oh, God, he wants to have sex with me. I'm like, yeah, that's probably a good thing. Y'all been married 20 years. At least he wants to have sex with you and not someone else, right? Like, so maybe do that. But then I think back to like 2-3 years ago, I'm like, I was probably the exact same way, actually. But, it's just,
it saves a lot of marriages, I will say.
I tell everyone.
Yeah, it saves a lot of marriages because it's natural. It happens.
Right.
When the testosterone levels drop, that is the one hormone that when that's gone, we have no libido. And it's not a woman's fault. It's just the way it is. But then you feel guilty.
Right.
But I don't, I'm sorry. I don't.
But
I don't want to have sex with you. I love you, but I don't want to have sex with you.
And of course,
no matter what
it's not you, it's me is the famous line.
Right,
and every man's like,
yeah, whatever.
Well, and they can't get it. They're like, I would have sex with a wall right now. What are you talking about?
Know.
Like, we don't care. So, to try to explain that is.
But it does flip the switch.
Yeah.
And it gets that engine
going.
And
men can take it too. So let's be clear. You see men and women, not just women. And there's plenty of reasons to give men the testosterone. I'm sure that's a list as well. What are some of those that they need to look for? Some of the same stuff?
Yeah, very similar, honestly. And a lot of times the things
Has a man ever lost his sex drive?
Yes, I actually do.
Did you just copy paste? Because that doesn't feel right now.
Well, the thing with most men is they have that sex drive, but they can't perform. Gotcha. Right? Or they'll have trouble performing. It's not like it used to be.
Right.
But for them, mostly it's motivation and belly fat. Those two are the big ones. They just don't want to work. They get depressed.
Yeah.
And it is a well-being hormone for both sexes.
Right.
But for men, they're just so easy. I give them testosterone and they're usually happy.
Right.
Happy as can be, and they might need a little thyroid and they're good to go.
And for a man, would you recommend the pellet or the shot? Because I have male friends that they prefer the shot or they take the shot. And I almost feel like anything with a guy, it's easier. So you could just give them a shot and be on their way, and it'll probably work better than
the modalities. They work the same.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Whatever works for that person. Some of my guys love pellets because they don't have to think about it for 5 or 6 months.
Right.
But for some guys, they don't mind the injections.
Right.
And you can travel with them.
What is that? Once a week or something?
Twice a week.
Okay.
Once a week, you're going to get too big of a rise and a too big of a crash.
Gotcha.
And then your body's going,
And
wait,
you're doing
what?
it all the time. Yeah.
Wait, what? What? You give me all this testosterone?
So
For a man who doesn't know, explain the pellet.
Oh, the pellets. Okay, so pellets are highly compressed bioidentical testosterone that are pushed into like Tic Tac size pellets. They're white and they are implanted subcutaneously into the fat. In males, I do the flank because that's where their fat is, the love handles. So I come back here and I place them in there. It's a painless procedure. It takes 10 minutes. But those pellets are so highly compressed that it takes them 5 to 6 months to completely absorb. So you get that blood flow by the pellet and it's slowly released day in and day out.
Yeah.
And
there's different doses, depending on what you need.
Yeah, I dose you using a scientific algorithm. I have a dosing platform that I use that I plug in all your lab work and your symptoms and your weight and your height. And it's very scientific and I get a pretty accurate dose. And then I make adjustments based on symptom relief.
Right. Well, and if you're on anything else. So I think she gave me the dose that science said to give, and we started on the low side, right? Because you'd rather...
I was cautious.
Yeah, you'd rather be cautious first.
Yep.
Like she said, we titrate everything. And over the last year, I think I've been on it since last March. So a year, you go in, for females, again, quarterly, not 5 to 6 months. Yeah. Just like Botox. Everyone else in my life can go 6 months. I have to go like every 6 weeks. I'm a very animated person. But anyway, I have to see like 3 different providers, so I never have wrinkles. But But so I go in quarterly, and we've only had to bump it up once, and been great. And that keeps me like every 12. It's supposed to be a 12-week window. So the first one when it was lower, and when to her point, how she said she doesn't want you doing this. When it ran out, you could tell it ran out. You start to get a little lethargic and things slow down, and not like. It's not a huge crash, but if I looked up and was like, it's not been one day of this. It's been like 3. And as a female, you're like, I'm about to start my period. I'm about to have I eaten?
Look
have
at
I
the
slept?
calendar.
Right.
I'm due for my pellet.
Right. And it's like, I'm 8 days out.
Yeah.
Now we know, okay, let's raise it a little bit so I don't have this 2.5 week lull next time.
Right.
So.
But pellets are, they've been around for 100 years, and they were started in Europe, and they somehow made it to the United States. Took a while, but pellets have been around for decades here. It's just, I think the word's getting out now and they're not for everyone. I mean, some people don't want that procedure. It's painless, but they just don't like that.
Right. I mean, it leaves a little mark on your butt.
Yeah, just a little mark. But you have patients that love creams. You can do testosterone cream. Right. Applied males, females. For females, I do estradiol cream. You can do cream, tablets, pellets. Yeah. Yeah. There's 3 key hormones for women: the progesterone, the estrogen, and the testosterone. But the estrogen's only for a menopausal woman. Right. Perimenopause, if you're still having periods, you do not get estrogen. That would be just a train wreck.
Right. Yeah.
We stick with 2 things: progesterone and testosterone.